All right, guys, what's up? My name is Milos, and Giannis is officially leaving the Bucks. Now, about 2 days ago, Shams reported that Giannis Antetokounmpo and his agent Alex Sorestis, I believe is how you pronounce his name, they started conversations with the Milwaukee Bucks about the two-time NBA MVP's future and discussing whether his best fit is staying or elsewhere. And more than likely, he's not staying because there was an issue where in the beginning of the season, Giannis came to the front office and requested that he be traded to the New York Knicks. And we can confirm now that those reports were true. Giannis did request to be traded to the New York Knicks because he wants to be in a big market. When I think about the landscape of the NBA right now, OKC is running away with being the best team right now in the NBA. Giannis could potentially shake that up by a few teams that I think he should be traded to, or really it's just one that makes the most sense. But I kind of wanted to look at PN's Giannis trades that would shake up the title race first before I give my opinion. Let's just run through it. So the Atlanta Hawks get Giannis and Cole Anthony. The Bucks get Trae Young, Zachary Risachet, a 2026 first rounder, 2027 first rounder, top 4 protected, 2029 first rounder, top 4 protected as well, and a 2031 top 4 protected first round pick. Now, this trade, you give up a lot of assets just to get Giannis, and then you have to think, is Giannis and Jalen Johnson really going to work out together? They're both kind of like similar players. Obviously, Giannis is a top 4 player and much more established. But in terms of Jalen Johnson's game, Jalen Johnson kind of plays a little bit similar to Giannis in a way. Like a 6'10", like wing that can handle the ball, shoot, and run an offense. Jalen Johnson kind of plays in that similar kind of role. And we're seeing right now with the Atlanta Hawks that they can play without Trae Young. But do you want to give up like all of your future? And then do you think Jalen Johnson and a Giannis Antetokounmpo-led team can beat an Oklahoma City Thunder? And so that's a few questions you have to pose if you're the Atlanta Hawks. So it can be a pretty unique trade and can potentially change the East, but I don't know if that's going to be enough for you to win the NBA championship getting Giannis. So we'll move on. The Houston Rockets get Giannis and his brother Thanasis, and then the Bucks get Alfred Sengun and Fred VanVleet. And so I'm not going to even go through the details of this because this trade doesn't make any sense. You have your cornerstone player that you think is the future, Alfred Sengun, still very young, probably between him and KD. I think probably Sengun's the better player, but between him and KD, Sengun is probably the best player on this team, and he's for sure your future best player, and he's a guy that's still growing and still learning the nuances of the game. I just don't think you give that up, especially when you're already a winning team right now. You're a top 3 team in the Western Conference, and you can definitely compete right now to win an NBA championship. Do I think they're going to beat OKC? Absolutely not. But do they have a chance right now as currently constructed, the Houston Rockets? Absolutely. So I wouldn't do this trade if I'm the Bucks because also you don't get any like younger. Well, you do get Sengun, which is a young cornerstone piece, but I don't know if that would make sense to get Sengun when you already have Miles Turner. You want to get picks. You want to get a bunch of picks to like build. And I don't know if you would be in a rebuild. Yes, you would be good, but I don't know if you would be in a consistent rebuild. So I'm going to move on from the Rockets. The New York Knicks, the one everyone's been talking about, they would trade Giannis and Jericho Sims. And then the Bucks would get back Karl Anthony Towns, Bacome Dediet, and Tyler Kolek. And then they get a first round pick. They get another first round swap, another first round swap, and another first round swap. So I don't know if this is a good trade either because you're giving up, again, a lot. And you give up Karl Anthony Towns. I think Giannis, ideally, even though I don't believe he knows like the CBA rules and what's going on with that, because I barely know. And I think like losing Karl Anthony Towns, a player who's like the second best player, arguably sometimes your best player on the New York Knicks, I don't think you just give that up for Giannis and you lose all your picks. I just don't think you pull the trigger for that. Now, it can make sense, but I don't know if it's enough, again, to beat OKC. And I think Giannis is looking for a trade to where he can be a champion and where he can beat a team like OKC. And the Bucks are just looking to get younger. And so this trade doesn't really make sense because they don't get any younger. And the first round picks aren't guaranteed picks. And a lot of them are first round swaps, which for sure aren't guaranteed. So we're going to move on. I don't know if I would do this if I was the Knicks. Now, the San Antonio Spurs. This is the trade that everybody's been talking about that makes sense. And I, quite frankly, happen to agree with that. Like, this is the only trade that makes sense. You trade Giannis. The Bucks get Stephon Castle, Harrison Barnes, Kelly Olynyk, 2027 first round pick, a 2029 first round pick, and then a 2032 first round pick. Now, they do give up a lot. Give up a lot. But in this scenario, they keep Harper, they keep Keldon Johnson, they keep De'Aaron Fox, you keep Wemby, and then you have Giannis to pair with Wemby. That front court alone is already the most dangerous front court that we will ever see probably in NBA history. And I can almost guarantee that because when you think about defensively how good Wemby is and then defensively how good Giannis is, a former defensive player of the year, that's just scary. And that's going to scare the league. And a lot of teams wouldn't know how to deal with that, including OKC. OKC would have to make a lot of shots. Because in terms of getting in the paint, you're not scoring in the paint. Like, you can't score over those two guys. It's literally almost like impossible when you have both of them on the court. So it's like a cheat code. It's crazy. I think that's probably the best trade. And then next you have the Golden State Warriors, which would be interesting because the Warriors would have Giannis paired with Stephen Curry, which would be an amazing threat. Like, you have an outside threat and then an inside threat offensively. That's just crazy. But I think what they have to give up doesn't make sense because, one, the Bucks would get Draymond Green. Draymond Green is not the same as he once was. I don't believe Draymond Green would be as successful. Not to say he won't be. I just believe he's the most successful in his current situation, which has always been the Golden State Warriors. Jonathan Kuminga, I think his value has plummeted due to Steve Kerr. And then some nights he's played bad, but most of the time he plays okay. But I think the constant playing him and then not playing him, Steve Kerr kind of ruined his value in that sense. Buddy Hield is a solid player. He's not young though. I'm pretty sure he's 30s. I'm pretty sure maybe 30. But I have to look it up. And then you get some first round picks, which they do have picks, which is good. But in terms of would Giannis and Steph and Butler, would they be enough? They potentially can. But I just think the thing that makes the most sense is the Spurs or even OKC themselves. Now, I don't mention OKC because they're already a champion and they're on pace to win another championship right now. So I don't really want to see Giannis with OKC. But in terms of what I want to see and what I think makes the most sense is a trade between the Bucks and the Spurs. And you don't even have to do this ESPN one that they mentioned. It would have to be either Castle or Harper they have to give up. But regardless, you're going to run into a situation to where you're going to need to find which guard is going to be your guard for the future. And I think it'd be better to deal with it now. I think Stephon Castle is already proving he's going to be an all-star. And then Dylan Harper is already coming in looking like a vet already, looking like he's played this NBA game for years. So y'all let me know y'all thoughts. I think Giannis and the Spurs trade makes the most sense. And I would like to see that get done because it would provide a lot of parity for the league in terms of, OKC's not guaranteed to get a back-to-back championship. So, again, y'all let me know y'all thoughts. We'll see in the next, I'd say, month where Giannis is going to go. I don't think it'll be long, but we'll see what happens. And if you haven't already, go ahead, subscribe, like the video, share the video with a friend. And until next time, guys, I'll see y'all later. Milos out. Peace.